Hi, everybody. My name is Richard Hunt, Senior Product Manager for ExtremeCloud IoT Essentials and AirDefense, and I'm here to talk to you today about Essentials. So what are Essentials? We've looked at Cloud IQ and the management interfaces, and we're looking at quality and management, but there are other aspects to the network that can be used, and these are business applications. And so what we've done is we've created the Essentials package, which will allow marketing and operations to leverage the network to address current and future business applications and problems. So Essentials includes location essentials, guest essentials, AirDefense, and IoT essentials. The location essentials, for example, being monitoring performance metrics, how many people are coming and going, and are we up 100% today, down 100% tomorrow, that sort of thing. The extreme guest essentials is a more advanced method of being able to control and manage your guest networks. AirDefense Essentials being a subset of our on-prem industry-leading platform for security, and IoT Essentials to provide wired security as well. All of this is included with the pilot subscription. So the use cases that I was talking about, I'm going to go a little bit in depth with right now, and then we'll actually show you some of the dashboards that we could use. So from an extreme location, what we do with the location essentials is we provide asset tracking, so BLE tags, Wi-Fi tags, and then you could use that to determine where devices are, where they should be, and where they shouldn't be, and alert and alarm off of those. You could do user tracking, so you can see your staff devices, you could see visitors all on a map. We could do what we call crowd monitoring. So if we have a ratio of X amount of visitors to associates, then we can actually trigger alarms to say we need another associate in this area or in this zone of the building. And then the business insights, which provides us with not only the full building, dwell time, and visits, but we can also look at the zone performance and what direction and flow of foot traffic happens. From a guest perspective, it's all a built-in, out-of-the-box kind of solution, which will allow you to use a template builder to create custom splash pages. You can use a single guest wireless LAN across the globe, but you can address different needs and challenges and marketing from your splash pages and your onboarding rules, specifically based on geography. So you don't have to create a ton of different wireless LANs in order to get your guest networks up and running. You can just create the one, and then you can manage your entire guest network really quickly in the cloud. There's no pushing of information down. You don't need maintenance windows or anything else to operate with your access points. Everything is managed up inside the cloud, so it happens very, very quickly. And that comes in with the access control, different types of access. Do I want one-time password, sponsored access, just accept and connect, or do I just want to grab email so I can start an email campaign? And of course, we'll have the insights and the dashboards for that to tell us how many people are using our guest network, how many are coming back, and how long they're using that for. From a security and air defense perspective, we're actually scanning the air, and then we're using a threat database from our on-prem version of AirDefense. Currently, we have 42 threats and growing. We're going to continue to add more threats into that. But what that does is it goes above and beyond your standard WIPs. You're not just looking at rogue APs and rogue clients. You're going further than that, and you're looking at different types of signatures that will trigger hacking attempts or denial of service. And then you'll be able to look at which sites are more at risk, and you'll also be able to review and manage and monitor these alarms. And then we have our IoT management, and what this is supported on our 150W, and then shortly our 302W. And it is its main use case is to act as a wireless client where you can plug in something like an infusion pump or some form of IoT device that you can plug into this access point, whether it be connected to your network wireless or wired. And you can have an application operator log in, and they won't have the admin view. They could just select whatever role is predefined by IT so that you don't have to include IT in real time to support the addition of all of these IoT devices. And again, we'll have a bit of a dashboard for that. So with that said, let's take a look and see what it actually looks like. Once we log in and we're greeted by our devices screen, on the left-hand side, we have a menu. And this is where you'll see the Essentials packages: IoT, AirDefense, Guest, and Location. So we'll start from the top and we'll work our way down. In IoT Essentials, as we discussed before, the use cases to protect IoT devices. Well, why do we want to protect IoT devices? There are so many different makes, forms, and types of OSs that sit on IoT boxes that they are never kept up to date. It's very rare that you will have software updates to address security concerns in IoT devices. And so this is a very big gap in your security. Somebody could hack into that IoT device and pull in sensitive information. In the past, it's been done. A fish tank was hacked in a casino, and all of the high rollers' names and information was actually put out for sale. So how do we want to protect these? Think about we'll use an infusion pump, for example, here. If somebody were to hack an infusion pump and be able to change the doses, it could be very critical to the patient that is requiring that. So what we'll do is we can actually create a profile which allows us to add the firewall rules to say what we can or cannot talk to. So this will prevent anybody from hacking into that system and causing a problem. The next thing that we do is we're going to create that group. So we create a policy group, and let's say we call it infusion pump. Here I've called it VLAN 1 and TV Mac. So what this is this is a label that an operator will log into. They won't have access to be able to create these policies, but they will see this label, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So they'll be able to plug in a device, see that device has not been assigned to anything, click the button and assign it to whatever label that you've provided. So I'm going to plug my infusion pump in, and I'm going to go into my clients, and this is what your operator would see. And as this device starts talking, you'll see this device show up. You select that device, and then you assign the policy group, the ones that we labeled before, like TV Mac. Assign that, and now your system is locked down and controlled and protected. We also have a dashboard, and this dashboard will provide some of that wired statistics to let you know where that traffic is going and what type of traffic is going through, so that you can review and make sure that your firewall rules are doing what they're supposed to do. Outside of the wired security, we have wireless security, and that is being done with AirDefense Essentials. This is where we are leveraging our on-prem AirDefense platform and threat database to provide not just rogue detection, but security threat detection. So we have a database. We've got 42 threats here, and we're adding more as we go through. And we're looking at different types of signatures and very common hacking techniques that might either allow somebody access into the system or prevent denial of service and quality issues. Here we see active and inactive alarms. So we will use this. Inactive alarm, for example, is something that triggered in the last 24 hours, but is not currently happening, whereas our active alarms are. We can look at which sites are more at risk. So we can take a look to see maybe why are they more at risk. Most likely they're in a more populated area and devices in the area are not doing what they're supposed to do. So we can click on our more insights, and this will help us drill into all of our alarms to see what is active, inactive, but then we can see what's expired. So we want to actually control these alarms so that we know that they've been addressed. And how we do that is two ways. The first way is you see it, it becomes inactive, and then after 24 hours, it expires. Or you see it, it's inactive or active, but you can investigate and mitigate it and then clear that alarm. And then you'll be able to see the history on that, which we'll see in a second. Here, if you want to mitigate a rogue AP, for example, you would click on that rogue and then you would just terminate. If you don't know what that alarm means, you can use the expert help, and that will give you a full description, investigation, and mitigation technique. To look at the expired alarms, we can click on those and see if they were cleared or not cleared. And we can do that by selecting this. This is a cleared alarm. So this says here that I investigated it and I cleared that alarm. We also have the ability to filter out what's going on with the AirDefense platform as well. And we can look at specific events in order to drill in and see what's going on with the system. From the security platform, we move into our Extreme Guest. So as mentioned before, some of the key takeaways and the key interest for Extreme Guest is its huge diversibility to help and manage a single wireless LAN or single wireless network, but at the same time, be able to push different functions, features, and onboarding rules right down to the floor level. So if you had a store on the first floor and corporate on the next, second, third, fourth floor, you can actually create an accepted connect or grab an email address and let your shoppers get online. But in your corporate, you can provide different types of access for somebody from Extreme to come and visit your corporate office, and you can use a sponsored guest access and provide a bit more bandwidth so we could do some demos for you. Logging in, you'll see that we have access to creating custom dashboards. These are soon to be reporting. So once you're done creating your dashboard, you can actually schedule these and have them sent to you. And then creating on these dashboards, we'll be able to see some of this information here, and we'll be able to drill in based on time. And you can expand and dive into some of this information. But here's where we're going to get things like if you're using social media, then you'll be able to pick up age range and gender if they've allowed that. You can look at the type of social networking. So was I onboarded locally or did I use Facebook, for example? You can look at client counts and you'll be able to see those that are returning and those that are new. And you'll be able to see how long that they actually hang out and use your guest network. Into the brains of Extreme Guest, one of the key takeaways here for non-IT, non-technical users is the ability to create your splash page. So we have a template editor. You can create from scratch, or you can clone one of our templates. And in here, you can choose the different layouts that you want, and you can edit each one. You can change the name of buttons. You can choose the functionality that's happening on that. Here, you would apply that to these locations. And when I said before, the granularity that you can get out of it, you can actually drill down into that tree and get them right down to the floor. From there, you can actually take a look at your client database where you can see what's going on with clients that are connected. Did they register with email address? Did they just accept and connect, MAC addresses? And if they're causing a problem, you can block them for 24 hours as well. Last, in the Essentials platform, we have our Extreme Location Essentials. So the key behind Location Essentials is twofold. It's operations and marketing. We have the ability to look at what our performance metrics are. A lot of folks in the industry look at location as maybe a way to track devices or count people that are sitting in a building. And it's not a capacity management tool. It's more to say, if I do marketing for this store, did I bring up did I bring my foot traffic up? An example of that, and a reverse example of that, is this report that I have here. So this is a mall in Canada. And what we're looking at here is the transition from last summer, coming out of the COVID lockdown, working our way through the holidays, getting in through Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then a lockdown that happened on the 26th, and we've been in that state ever since. So you can actually see the effects or the negative effects of COVID. But in reverse, if you were to do marketing campaigns, you would see the opposite. You would see your trends being low, and then a nice big marketing campaign, and your traffic spikes up. That is really the key use to the performance metrics. But we can also use things like the maps to track users, devices, assets, things like that. It's not specifically a retail tool as well. So what we could do is just look at these maps, and we can see visitors and staff. Maybe I just want to see all my staff where they are, and maybe I just want to see where all the visitors are. We can also look at what we call assets. So assets can be tracked both with Wi-Fi and BLE tags. And you can give them names, you can assign pictures, everything else, but you can actually take a look, you dial in and you select the asset you're looking for, apply it, and then you can see where it sits, triangulated on a map. Now, the other thing about assets on here, which is interesting, is we can create these zones. And it's these zones that have two purposes. The first one is from our marketing analytics. This is how we track what's going on inside a building. So not only are we looking at what happens when things come in, but we can also look at what each department in that area is doing. And we can follow the traffic flow from office to living room to assets and back again. The second use case to that is this asset, for example, we could confine it to this space. We can say, I only want that asset sitting in the office. Or we can say, this asset is allowed to go in the office and in the assets area, but it is not allowed to go into this area. And so you could trigger alarms based on how that operates. Now, we can look at our custom dashboards. So this is where we're going to get a lot of our information. This is our site analytics. So we can see folks that have walked by, for example, but we can remove those and we can look at what our inside trends are, devices that are coming in, and we can create events. So if you had a marketing event, let's say photos with Santa, then you can create that and set the time, and then you can just click on that and get your detailed statistics and afterwards on how that was actually performed. So if we are sitting at 200, typically 200 devices or beacons that we're seeing per day, and we have photos with Santa, then we should go up from maybe 50%, 100%. We're not sure how that is, but it allows us to figure out how much we want to invest in that going into the future and what our past trends were in order to say, yeah, that didn't work or this really worked. Let's enhance this and let's see how that performance. And as I mentioned before, from a category perspective, this is where we're looking inside the building to see how each one of those areas is performing. And then we can look at what that foot traffic is. So they came in here, and where did they go from there? So we had 2,100, and some came over here. So 1,000 went over into the office, and so on. So you kind of get the idea of how we can track that foot traffic. If for some reason you're not seeing what you like on here, you can actually edit this dashboard, and you can add more features. We have two categories here. We have the site analytics, and you can select any of these widgets to put on there, and you have the category analytics. Another key feature of these dashboards is the fact that you could download this information either in PDF as a presentable report, or you could download it in CSV and take these numbers and generate your own types of reports if you're not seeing what you want on here. Side to that is we do have the ability to push information out to third party if you wanted to get some of this information out and integrate it into existing systems that you might already have. And that's our Location Essentials and our Essentials platform for our demo. So to summarize, the key takeaways out of here is that the out-of-box experience is important. A lot of vendors and products out on the market will say that they can do a lot of what you've seen here, but it requires a lot of API development. So you have to connect in with APIs, you have to create your own tools, you have to go and pull out HTML files, for example, to create your own guest portals. And it can be very convoluted, and it can almost hinder what business use cases you really want to get out of your network. So Essentials, as we continue to develop, will always provide you that low level, don't have to be a genius kind of scenario where you could go in and marketing or operations can leverage these tools without having to get access to configuring the network, having to be really good programmers, sort of thing. So the takeaways being leverage the customized dashboards. You can create these dashboards for specific use cases or specific users that want to log in and see only information that they care about. You can manage your guest portal, so you don't have to have all of those wireless LANs to do it. You can have that single wireless LAN, and then you can control and manage, and then you can easily change to market. So I want to market some of my events, and then I want to look at location to see how that marketing happened. Maybe I want to position my loyalty app. So you can go into there and I can update and change it without having to touch the network devices and without any maintenance windows. And then secure your network. Use IoT and AirDefense to protect your airspace. That's one of the biggest things right now that a lot of people overlook. This, well, if I got rogue detection, I'm PCI compliant, I'm okay, but you're not. There are users out there that are trying to hack networks, and instead of trying to focus on being PCI compliant, we should focus on staying out of the news for presenting all of our customer information, which is happening more and more these days. We're seeing that. So great way to lock your system down and protect yourself and protect the business. The biggest key takeaway that I want everybody to have out of this session is it's included with Pilot. There are no additional costs with this. If you have a Pilot subscription, then you are already able to use this. You can opt in, you can leverage your partner, your Extreme account team, and get configured up and test it and get to learn and to know these devices. So with that, I'll leave you with the last statement, which is out of the box, Essentials provides that deep insight and use cases, but not only to IT, but also to your marketing and operations departments, so that network can be used to solve your challenges that you have today and help you prepare for tomorrow. So thank you.